These are the Nothing Headphones 1. So Nothing has become very much a design company. And that's not a bad thing. People love great design. I love great design. But you can think of them as a design company in the genre of consumer electronics. They've made a few phones where design is like their major distinguishing feature. They've also now made a few earbuds and accessories where design is their major distinguishing feature. And now this is their first pair of $300 over-ear noise-canceling headphones. So now they're playing in the space with the big dogs, like where people usually buy headphones like this for their audio quality, their noise cancellation, the Sonys, the Bose of the world, Sennheisers. And so these will obviously stand out because of this design, but is that enough? Now, first of all, the design is pretty wild, so it may be enough for some people. There's a dark version and a light version. I've been rocking the light version, and yeah, it's very much a like cassette tapes glued to the side of your head type of look. So there's nothing in the modern headphone world that's gonna look quite like it, which, you know, hey, that's also the Cybertruck effect. Like all that means is some people are gonna love it because it looks different, and some people are gonna hate it because it looks different. I do think this is a bit more elegant than a Cybertruck though. There's some text, there's this red dot so you always know which side is the right side. And then of course Nothing really likes the transparent aesthetic, and obviously that's a little boring with headphones because all you'd really see is drivers and batteries, but I still think they kind of pulled it off and it looks neat. Is that crazy? Am I crazy for that? But I do have a theory. I do think that this slightly weirdo design was easier for me to accept because the rest of the product, as I've been using it, is actually pretty good. Now, when I first saw that Nothing was making these over-ear headphones, you know, I read the spec sheet and I got all the information about them. And one thing kind of stood out to me that you might have also seen in a keynote or whatever announcement they end up doing, which is sound by Kef, right? So these headphones are designed by Nothing, but obviously this is their first pair of these big over-ear noise canceling headphones. So they've partnered with this company that I honestly don't know that much about called Kef. And my immediate reaction is, okay, how much of a brand collaboration is this really? So I went digging around Kef's website and wow, they have a whole bunch of hi-fi speakers, a few $1,000s, a few tens of thousands of dollars. They've got bookshelf speakers, standing speakers. These things are $225,000. But then they did have exactly one pair of headphones on their site. One pair of wireless noise canceling over-ear headphones. These things are called the MU7. Is this one of those white labeled product type situations where Nothing just changed the design a little bit? That would feel kind of insane, and I had to find out. So I bought them. They were like $400 on their site, but they're listed for $220 on Amazon, so that's where I got them. But I'm happy to report that thankfully they're almost nothing alike. I mean, they sound similar enough, but if the premise is that Nothing just took like these drivers and just reintroduced the packaging and all the features around it, then I think they've done enough to make an entirely different product. There's about 5 different interesting buttons on the Nothing Headphones 1. First of all, this top button here is actually also a slider, kind of like a mouse scroll wheel. So it's smooth, it goes back and forth, and it's volume up and down. But you can also press it in once to play pause, and then hold it down to switch between transparency and noise cancellation. I don't love that they still make this creepy sound when they do, but that's already way better than those finicky, touch-sensitive areas we've seen on so many other headphones lately, so I'm down with it. And then right below that, there's this like paddle that's large enough and easy to find without seeing it, and that is the next track and previous track button. And in certain supported apps, it'll also actually hold down to fast forward or rewind. Confirmed this works in chunks in Spotify, but it also works, I think, best in like a 2x scrubbing speed in Apple Music. But then the bottom of the right headphone has the on-off switch, the USB Type-C port, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. And then at the front of the right ear is a customization button. By default, pressing it once triggers a voice assistant on whatever phone you've paired to. But in the Nothing app, you can actually customize this button to do other things. And then on the inside here is a subtle but useful Bluetooth pairing button. So no touch controls, no awkward finicky swiping, only tactile physical buttons and switches thumbs up to the control system. And then they hit almost every other build quality fundamental too. These headphones are comfortable. They're well built. The ear cups are a mix of metal where you grab the headphones, but also plastic to save weight. And the headband is very flexible for a variety of head sizes. The ear cups are quite soft. They are a little heavier than the average completely plastic ANC headphones, but not too heavy. They're not AirPods Max heavy, for example. And they're still very comfortable to wear for hours on end. I know that because I just did. I had about 8 hours of flights this past weekend, and I watched tons of videos and listened to music and podcasts, and I was impressed by how good they feel. And they did that all on one charge. The battery life is rated about 35 hours, roughly the average for this category. And then when I didn't want to have them on or when I had to talk to somebody, I could take them off like this and they actually fold down, which is not something they all do. The one miss is these headphones don't fold. So traveling with them, that means the case is a little awkwardly bigger. And also this zipper in the case is kind of annoying. I'm not just saying that because I just came from this perfect Sony XM6 magnetic buckle case, but this is actually a small, annoying zipper that I'm confident will annoy everyone who uses it. Just watch other videos. I bet they also hate the zipper. Just a little thing. Aside from that though, as far as comfort and fundamentals for headphones, they've done a great job here. So then what about the sound? What if you are buying them for the sound? Well, I think you could do a lot worse. First of all, the ear cups, the pads here are very soft, but also very thick. So when you put these on, the isolation from your environment, even without ANC, is really good. So then you turn ANC on, and it does a great job with room noise and general white noise. Turn the music up, and that's all you're really going to be hearing. I will say on the extreme end, it's about a notch and a half behind the Sony's ANC. I could still hear some plain engine noise on my flights where I'd never hear that through the Sony's, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. If the Sony's are an A+, these are a B+. Transparency mode is a different beast though. The AirPods Max and the Sony's have nailed that. These kind of fall in with the rest of the pack. Functionally they're fine. I can hear my environment. If people talk to me, I can hear them. But my own voice, maybe there's not enough mics inside, but my own voice is super booming. It's not comfortable to have a conversation with these on, so I ended up just taking them off. And look, honestly, I don't think people are gonna buy these just for the sound. Like I said, Nothing is a design company, but the sound by Kef and these 40mm drivers do perfectly fine thanks to all that passive isolation. They're clear, they're balanced, with plenty of range all the way from bass through mids and highs without distortion at high volumes. Not a particularly wide soundstage, but some may like that isolated small room feeling. And you can dial in the sound characteristics you really like with the app. Matter of fact, let me just shout out the app. This is where you can do a ton of stuff. You can change exactly what the customizable button does with a single press or a press and hold. You can quickly manage which devices the headphones are connected to. And yes, they can be connected to 2 at once. You can change the level of noise cancellation from low to medium to high, and you can pick from a few pre-tuned equalizers or go into the advanced one and literally drag the sliders around and make a preset for yourself. And there is a lot of range here. You can really mess up the sound if you want to, or dial in something nice and subtle. This might come as a surprise to some people, but these actually sound like $300 headphones. Now, part of that is because the leaders in the category have moved up a bit to $350 and $450 and $550. But I think that's the point. The price you'd expect to pay for a rock-solid pair of ANC headphones in 2025 with good sound, good battery life, spatial audio, USB Type-C audio, LDAC support, and a good, well-featured app is $350. And these are $300. So can you get better headphones than these? Yeah, of course. The Sony headphones I keep referencing in this video, the XM6s, are still those headphones. Like, they're better at everything objectively. Better ANC, better sound quality. They fold, they have a better case with that magnet. But are they $150 better? That's up to you. I mean, some people might prefer the actual physical switches and buttons on these headphones over the Sonys. Some people might prefer this design over the Sonys. Believe it or not, some people are going to prefer the money saved over the Sonys. So that's where these come in. And thanks to Insta360 for sponsoring this portion of the video. I checked out the X3 a couple years ago, and since then they've made some big upgrades to get to this X5. So this camera's got a larger 1/1.28 inch sensor, 144% size increase from X3 and X4's half-inch sensor. With the new sensor and pure video mode, the X5 excels now in low light scenarios. The X5 has the ability to shoot up to 8K 360 videos at 30 FPS, 5.7K at 60 FPS, or 4K at 120 FPS. And as you know, the ultra high resolution on these cameras is important because you still want it to be crisp when you're cropping and reframing. And now with their new triple AI chip system and InstaFrame mode, X5 can handle in-camera reframing in real time while simultaneously capturing a full 360 video for future flexibility. The new battery life's impressive too, up to 3 hours of continuous recording. And the lenses have a tough scratch-resistant glass now, so for the first time in a 360 camera, they're replaceable if you ever need to swap one out. Their free editing app makes it super easy to reframe footage and is packed with powerful AI features to level up the quality of your edits, including full auto editing and the ability to add professional effects. Insta360 clearly set out to make the X5 the most powerful and easy to use 360 camera to date. And all of these new features are paired with their invisible selfie stick and their best-in-class stabilization. So check it out today. And the first 50 people who use my link in the description will get a free replacement lens kit, an invisible selfie stick, and a 5% discount. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.